with Desmond Johnson. That is all one word, The Rundown with Desmond Johnson. You can also listen and comment live during the show at bestsportstalkshow.com. And we're going to kick it off right away with our Around the ACC segment, something we usually tip off every Monday with. Unless you were under a rock, one of the greatest rivalries in sports. I made an argument Friday that it is the greatest rivalry in sports, and it did not disappoint Saturday. Duke versus North Carolina in the Dean Dome, 98-96 epic overtime battle on Saturday. I'm just going to get straight to the audio here. It's going to hurt for me to play this, but Tyus Jones. Wait, which Jones is it?
Trey.
It's Trey
Yeah.
Jones, my fault. Trey Jones, game time buzzer beater to force overtime. Credit to ESPN.
Have to be alert for tipping the ball back out as well. Got two shooters, Matthew Hurt and Alex O'Connell, positioned.
Got the miss. Jones, can he get a shot off? Yes! Jones knocks it down to tie the game.
Just amazing.
I don't know why I'm doing this to myself Monday morning, but it wasn't over yet. Overtime was back and forth. Carolina was down by like 5 or 6 in the overtime, stormed back, and then a wild sequence at the end of overtime, which resulted in Wendell Moore Jr.'s game-winning tip-in. Duke comes back, shocks Carolina in overtime. Also credit to ESPN.
A miss. A tap. Jones. Tipped. Yes! Wendell Moore puts it home for Duke. A broken play, a tap back out, an air ball, and alertly Wendell Moore going to the rim and banking it home. Did he get it in time?
So, yeah.
He did get it in time.
You know, the one thing that stood out to me, the first thought I had when this was all said and done was at the end of regulation, it was the same situation that Carolina had a week or two prior in the Dean Dome, Clemson, where everyone in America was getting on Roy Williams for not telling his team to foul them up by 3 with a couple of seconds left in the game. Clemson drives down, shoots a 3, sends it to overtime. Same exact situation going on. Carolina's up 3, couple seconds left in regulation. Even the announcers, Jay Billis and I think it was Dan Schulman, they were both like, well, he won't forget to tell him this time. And he didn't. Carolina fouls, sends Trey Jones to the line. They're up 3 with like 2 or 3 seconds left on the clock. Trey Jones hits the first free throw, then throws the ball at the rim. If you threw the ball at the rim 10 times, it would not ricochet back the way it did to Trey Jones, but maybe once out of 10. But it ricochets back perfectly to Trey Jones out by the 3-point line, goes through 2 Carolina defenders, takes the shot, ties the game, sends it to overtime. But then even after that, Carolina's down 5. Duke is pushing in overtime. Carolina fights back, and they get up 1, I believe, with a couple of seconds to go in overtime again. And then we heard the situation with or actually the game was tied at that point. And Trey Jones, again, shoots towards the basket, shoots it short. Wendell Moore is in position. No one's there to block him out. Tips it in with seconds to go and ends the game on that note. And initial thoughts from you guys watching this game, because I know we were all watching this. The whole country was watching this game. And yet again, it did not disappoint like it typically doesn't.
Instant classic. I mean, it really was. And, you know, that's what that rivalry is all about. And for that ball to just ricochet absolutely perfect back to Trey Jones.
Perfect.
Now, if you notice, I think it was Hurts out there too. They were both out there trying to receive the ball. It went into Hurts' hands just for a split second. Trey Jones just ripped it right out of his hands to do what he did. And both shots, that shot that he took to tie the game, and then the shot that he took at the end of the overtime that did not go in, but Wendell ended up tipping it in, were the exact same shots.
Yeah, they were the exact same shots. And it was just it reminded me of 2012, the Austin Rivers shot, where the Carolina team, now in that situation, Carolina's team was much better than Duke coming into the game. I think they were ranked number 1 or 2 in the country. It was the Harrison Barnes, Tyler Zeller, Kendall Marshall squad. And Carolina led the whole game. And then Austin Rivers got a switch and had Tyler Zeller on him, not by the 3-point line. Rivers launches the shot, hits it as time expires, and the name Sub-Zero was born or whatever. Did you notice Wendell Moore's number jersey?
Is it number
0?
Number 0.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that game at all. I was over at one of the kickback jacks in Greensboro, and I was surrounded by Duke fans. And the whole time we were winning, I mean, the Duke fans were complaining. They were saying the refs were trying to give it to Carolina.
Yeah.
And the whole time I didn't say a word. I didn't say too bad. I didn't smile. I didn't do anything. Because in the back of my mind, this Carolina Tar Heel team reminded me of my last year Cowboys, meaning we would find a way to lose the game. And I tell you what, at the very end, I'll be honest with you, I think the refs did take it from us because when we inbounded the ball on the last possession, there should have been a foul call. That looked like a bowled over.
The plate tech.
Yeah, plate tech. That looked like a bowled over.
Right in front of the
in
Duke
football,
bench.
yeah, right in front of the Duke bench. It looked like a football play. The guy put his shoulder right in front of plate tech, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was Wendell Moore.
Yeah,
Wendell
Moore. He put his shoulder right into him, and I'm like, how do you not call a foul?
It should have been called.
Ball.
But
that
it
is crazy.
But it shouldn't have come down to that, unfortunately. No. And when it comes down to, it's not like the referees are going against one team or the other.
Oh, I agree.
Right. But a call like that, the Carolina just kind of walked into that because they played a terrific basketball game, except for on the free throw line. That's obviously that's the best you've seen them play all year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. By far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Top, well, normally what happens, there's been a couple games where Carolina's played well at the beginning of the game or the first half, and then you see them kind of peter out towards the end. And I haven't blamed them too much this year because this has been the most injured Carolina team that I can remember in my lifetime, especially during Roy's tenure here at Carolina. I mean, if we had Brandon Robinson in that game, we probably win it going away.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just have remnants of the January 10th where we played Clemson. And we played great during the first half, the beginning of the second half. Then we let them come back. We were up with 10 points with 2 minutes left in the game. Same situation here. We allowed Clemson to take it into overtime, just like we just allowed Duke to take it into overtime. There was no reason for that. And it was like we quit playing defense at the end or something. I don't know what it was.
It was almost like they didn't want to give up the three. So, Trey Jones just put his head down and just drove into the paint 2 or 3 times and cut the lead down. I mean, yeah, they were up 8 with, a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah.
And just us not hitting free throws and him going down and hitting a quick 2, calling timeout.
Yeah.
They'd foul again, put us on the line. And it was literally just us not hitting free throws. If they hit free throws, they don't even go to overtime.
And I'll tell you this, Trey Jones, he made a chump out of Cole Anthony at the end of that game.
They went back and forth towards the very end, but the stretch at the end of the second quarter and to the top of the overtime,
scored 20 points
in
the second half.
Well, he took over the whole that game. But the free throw misses, the defense kind of slacking a little bit. Roy only played 7 guys. I mean, he because of injuries and and all that kind of good stuff. But they had to be worn out at the end of the game, where Duke was playing their 10, 11 guys,
which is flipped because normally it's the other way around.
It
Duke
sure
is
is.
usually playing 7 guys, and Carolina's running 10, 11 deep. So it's been weird. I don't know how to feel about this season because now it's at a point, and I'm going to play Coach K's comments on the game here in just a second. But before I do, let me pose this question to you. Then we're going to go around the ACC with some news. Which is more likely, Duke wins the national championship or North Carolina wins the ACC tournament in Greensboro? Carolina would have to win 5 straight at this point because I'm pretty sure they're dead last in the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
So that means they're playing on Wednesday night. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
It might be playing Tuesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of it in Greensboro. Hold your thought on that, and I'm going to play the audio of Coach K after Duke escaped with a 98-96 overtime win in the Dean Dome.
An absolutely incredible game. I mean, to have an incredible game means you have great performances by both teams. And Carolina was outstanding. I mean, I thought they were going to run us out of the gym. Their crowd was great. And I don't know what's happened the whole year, but they were Carolina tonight, boy. They were fantastic.
I thought that was very classy. It's different than last year. If you remember when Carolina beat Duke in the Zion bust the shoe game or whatever, the coach handshake at the end where K just blew off Roy.
Yeah.
Roy was like, "Hey man, sorry about what happened." He was like, "Yeah man, whatever," and just kept it walking down the sideline. This game, it's whenever K wins.
Oh, yeah, when he wins.
He's very happy on the sideline. He gave him a hug and everything.
Yeah, big hugs.
If they had lost,
totally different.
he'd be like, "Who are you?" And
I
just kept
agree
walking by.
100%. It happens every time he loses. Now he's great. Oh yeah, Carolina looked. What do you say? Terrific today.
Yeah, of course they lost.
Funny.
Yeah,
and you know what? But that's the competitive juices in him. And a lot of coaches do that. Not all of them, but but you can always tell when he wins and when he loses.
Yeah. Now I will say I did respect there was a couple of things in the game that made me even further cement in my mind this is the greatest rivalry in sports. When Vernon Carey fouled out and he decided to go over and shake Roy Williams' hand, this is in the middle of the game. Like he went over. I think Roy was recruiting him when he was a senior in high school, so they know each other. But he went over to shake his hand and just be like, "Hey, man." I thought it was really cool.
But I thought there was an issue with those two at the first half of the game. I think Roy had told the refs that Carey had fouled or something like that, and Carey kind of went over to Roy and just kind of like bucked up at him a little bit. I thought something like that had happened.
Now, that might be maybe that's why he went over.
Yeah, I think
was
that
just
is
trying
why.
to show some respect.
Very cool.
And then at the very end of the game, I thought Roy and Kay, they kind of embraced it at center court at the end of it. I think both of them just understand like what the game is, and they're both towards the end of their careers as opposed to the middle or the beginning of it. And there's no telling how many of these games and moments they have. So I think they cherish it a little bit more. Kay and Dean were like that towards the end too, where
yeah, but Dean owned Coach K.
Yeah,
I mean, right now, in my
that was the
opinion,
difference.
in my opinion, Coach K owns Roy Williams. I'm sorry, but there was a wide gap between the Duke and Carolina, wins and losses in favor of Carolina while Dean Smith was there. And that gap has closed since Roy Williams has come.
Now, I mean, Roy has more ACC titles, more national championships, more regular season titles by a lot over Duke. But I see what you're saying, where the head-to-head between Duke and Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had posted the meme right before the game where in the past 100 games, not counting the one that just happened.
Unbelievable.
There 50 wins for both sides, same amount of points for both sides.
When
That's insane.
when I saw that again, I said, I shouldn't have been arguing on Friday because this is. But I know it's a great rivalry.
And I still have people
numbers
coming
like
at me
that
about Alabama Auburn and
you
stuff
can't
too,
make
but
up those kind of numbers. I mean, it's almost mathematically. It can't happen, and they were tied. And then even at the end of the regulation, they were still tied.
And that to me, that was kind of my point. It was just like, yes, there are great rivalries out there, but none of those rivalries put all of these ingredients into the same bucket, and you get this game every time. Because I had a good buddy of mine, Tony Brown, was like, Alabama, Auburn, we got people out here poisoning trees and stuff. And I'm like, that didn't make you the best rivalry. It just means you got crazy people in your rivalry. That's not the same thing. Alabama's dominated that rivalry against Auburn, and Alabama's got like 11 national championships. Yeah. Auburn's got like 2. I mean, it's not the same type of thing in terms of level of respect and everything else.
And back to the coaches, every coach handles wins and losses differently. There's no doubt about it. But like you said, they embraced after the game and everything. Now, if Carolina would have won, I don't think there would have been a hug, okay? Because, like you said, Kay probably would have walked right by. But Roy doesn't do that. I've never seen him do anything like that. It's always
win,
a good,
lose, or draw.
Good,
That's right.
solid shake. And if he wants a hug, he'll hug it out. And then, I don't care what he's thinking inside. I mean, because I know that these losses kill these coaches. There's no doubt about it.
When you guys season's got to be killing Roy.
Oh, of course.
This is not what he had pictured at the beginning of the year when he gathered his team together.
I'm sure, but I still say he brought it upon himself. But as you guys were talking about well, I mean, you got to recruit better and you got to coach a little. I don't think he did a great job in paying attention to details in coaching this year, and I could be wrong because there were some serious fundamentals missing. At the earlier part of this game, the other part of the season, as you said it yourself, they couldn't even pass the ball.
They couldn't even.
That's very simple. You know what I mean? To me, that's a coaching issue.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, but going back to the rivalry, it being a great rivalry, is there any way to figure out or find out how many people nationwide or worldwide actually watched this game or tuned into this game?
Yeah, usually ESPN puts out ratings on. I didn't get a chance to look at them today, but it's the highest college basketball game of the season every season. Okay. Duke's usually in the top 10. 3 or 4 of their games are usually highly ranked. Like last year with Zion, I think they had like the top 7 or 8 college basketball games or whatever for the season. But there was things going on around the ACC. Real quick, tonight Florida State takes on Duke. Who do you have winning that game real quick? Because this is a quick turnaround for Duke. This is 2 days, and they just played overtime against their biggest rival on the road, and now they got to take on Florida State.
I tell you what, if Duke turns around after that game and that intensity and that, overtime and everything they had to do, if they turn around, and I know they're in Cameron tonight, and beat Florida State,
State's good.
I might have to applaud Duke because that will be a hell of a turnover. I'm not sure if they can do it, though,
I think Florida
man.
State's going to steal one from them
FSU.
just for that emotional level. If they didn't have to go to overtime and they beat Carolina, I'd be like, all right, they probably can get through this. But having to go to overtime and fight multiple times they were behind the whole game, it felt like. So I don't know. I think they're going to run out of gas tonight because Florida State, they are pretty good. They're ranked 7th in the country. They're the tallest team in the country. They go. Leonard Hamilton goes like 12 deep with his team. Like he's just bringing in waves of kids to play. So
and kudos to Leonard Hamilton. Are you kidding me? He's 72 years old. He looks like he's 50.
He does.
Yeah.
He looks
I
great.
cannot. When I heard his age, I was just amazed. I mean, he really does look good.
I did want to mention real quick before we take our first break, too, Johnny O's Orange out here recruiting. 5-star sophomore guard Dior Johnson committed to Syracuse on Friday evening. He made the announcement on Twitter. He's a 6'2" point guard who plays at Mayfair High School in California. Considered one of the most talented sophomores in the country. He's ranked number 13th in the ESPN 25 for the 2022 class. I asked Johnny O, will Jim Boeheim even still be coaching in 2022? Because that's 2 seasons from now. And how old is he? 70?
Well, he's 75.
75. Oh, my gosh.
And Buddy's got 2 more years after this.
So you think he'll still be there?
In 22, yeah.
I thought he was supposed to leave like a year ago.
Oh, my God. He was supposed to leave 30 years ago. We've been trying to push him out, and he keeps winning games, and then we
Hey,
like
well, I mean, as long as you're still winning games, bud, just stick around for a little bit. We're going to take a quick break and come back, but it's February. We've got some football to discuss, XFL, some NFL news and notes, including a local coach that might be getting put on the Redskins staff. You're listening to The Rundown.
You're listening to The Rundown with Desmond Johnson.
This is Davis Troxler, the proud owner of North Carolina Golf Academy and the Director of Instruction. Don't let your golf game suffer from this dreary winter season. Come hit some golf balls, take a lesson, play around on our state-of-the-art simulator at our indoor practice facility located just off of Battleground in Greensboro. You can call us at 336-324-2374 for details. Thank you, and keep it in the fairway.
Should be played at high volume.
Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service has served Winston-Salem and surrounding areas for over 50 years. In addition to collision repair, Ray's also performs auto painting and towing. Using only the best quality products and materials, Ray's team of technicians is the best of the best. Family owned and operated, all of their work is guaranteed. When you find yourself in a bind, their 24-hour emergency towing and wrecker service is here to help. Call Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service today for a free estimate. 336-788-6174.
The specials never stop at Blue Naples Pizza, an Italian restaurant. Every day you get a large 2-topping pizza for only $11.99. On Sunday, watch football and enjoy our large 1-topping pizza and 10 wings for only $17.99. Plus lunch specials every day of the week. Blue Naples Pizza, an Italian restaurant. 1519 Union Cross Road in Kernersville.
Havoline Express Lube of Kernersville. Their service facility is independently owned and operated by Mac Allen, providing full-service repair and maintenance services. They use the latest diagnostic equipment to guarantee your vehicle is repaired or serviced properly and in a timely fashion. Mac and his team pride themselves on commitment to the local community and providing value-driven service in an inviting, friendly environment. Go see Mac at Havoline Express Lube of Kernersville for all of your automotive maintenance needs.
Are you looking for a new favorite spot to kick back and have a good time? Here at Kickback Jack's, you can watch all of your favorite sports teams with over 50 TVs. With delicious food, thirst-quenching brews, and non-stop entertainment, there's no comparison when it comes to the best sports bar in Greensboro. Grab lunch with the family, kick it with coworkers, or catch up with old friends. What are you waiting for? Visit Kickback Jack's, New Garden, today.
Back to the Rundown with Desmond Johnson.
Welcome back to the Rundown. Des, Johnny O, and Rod in the house, giving you some sports on your lunch break, live this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 noon. Thanks to our partners over at Netcast Sports. You can hear it there. You can go to sportscarolinamonthly.com and hear it there, or go to bestsportstalkshow.com, hear it there, and actually talk to us during the show with your news, with your notes about what we're talking about as well. We will be at East Coast Wings in Kernersville live Wednesday and Friday of this week. So definitely stop by, chat with us while we're doing the show, get you some wings, hang out, watch some sports, do what you got to do. But we'll be there live this Wednesday and Friday, and we got some news coming up for after that as well, towards the end of the show. The XFL debuted this weekend. We talked about it a little bit on Friday. Some surprising numbers. The XFL debut game drew 3.3 million viewers on Saturday on ABC. ABC announced that number this morning and added the viewership peaked at the end of the broadcast, which is a good sign that the game actually kept fans interested. I actually came into that game towards the end of the game myself. Last year, the Alliance of American Football drew 2.9 million viewers for its first game, and then it never got close to that again, and it shut down after completing its first season. The XFL has a much better TV deal than the AAF had. XFL is on ESPN, ABC, and Fox throughout the entire season. The key will be, can the XFL hold on to that day one audience or even grow as the season goes on, or whether fans just kind of tune in for curiosity and they'll tune back out. The New York coach, Kevin Gilbride, was talking about the quality of play probably surprising some people when they tuned in to watch the XFL this weekend.
I'll bet people are surprised at about how good the play is and how good the quality of coaching is, which is, has helped to, serve as a very important catalyst to bringing the ability level of these guys to where they're able to perform the way they did. I mean, you look at the two games yesterday, that was pretty good football. I think anybody that loves the game of football saw with their own eyes, say, hey, you know what, this is something I can watch and enjoy and get behind. In terms of our fans, I thought they were ready to cheer. We just needed to give them a few more things to cheer about in the second half. But they were there, and I think the ones that were there enjoyed themselves, and they'll be back, and hopefully we'll have a few more joining with them.
My first thought was that the DC team, what is their nickname? It's not Snipers, is it? It's something else.
I'm not sure.
Whatever it is. It's the DC team. My first thought was they've got more people in the stands than the Redskins usually do.
Oh,
like,
geez.
I mean, that was my first thought visually watching. I was like, wow, they actually got some people sitting out here. Did you guys watch any of the games? That's DC Defenders. I was gonna say because snipers would be very insensitive with the DC sniper and all. I was like, they wouldn't have done that. But
no, I watched.
Did anybody watch XFL this weekend?
I did watch some of it, and I was surprised. It was good football. I'm not going to say it was outstanding football, but it wasn't bad football. So it wasn't noticeable. Like, oh wow, this is terrible. It's just solid football. But it got me excited when Austin Parole from here in Greensboro area, and of course he ended up going to Charlotte. Scores the first touchdown of the XFL. That was kind of cool. I didn't even know he was playing in the XFL.
There's a lot of random guys down there that I see their name like, oh hey, there he is. I haven't seen him in a couple of years.
And that's what you're going to get. You got to watch these guys. Like we were saying, we got to know these players to really want to watch the games. But it was pretty cool because they interviewed a guy they interviewed Austin right after the touchdown on the bench, joking around. I mean, it is very fan friendly for sure.
That's the part that I think can separate them a little bit, because it can be like somebody put an example on Twitter where it's like, say you're a running back and you fumble the ball and you cost your team a touchdown or something. They're right in your face with a microphone as soon as it happens. Like, hey, Bud Smith, so you just fumbled and cost your team 7 points. How does that make you feel? And it's like you have to answer right there, seconds after it happened. So that's a little different. I like the kickoffs, the way they do the kickoffs.
Yeah, the kickoffs are great.
Where they basically both sides just line up at I couldn't tell where it was, the 40?
Yeah, I think it's right at the 40-yard line.
They kick off from the 30. They can't start running forward until the ball is caught.
Right.
And they're trying to do away with touchbacks or whatever, but they're also trying to do away with injuries and things of that sort, these 30-mile-per-hour collisions where you're already set and you're really only maybe 10 yards from each other, it looked like, where they're all lined up. And that made it very interesting. And Bobby Carpenter on Get Up this morning made an excellent point. He was like, later on in the season in the NFL, that's how they practice them anyway. Like the teams, they don't line up and run at each other because everybody's already beat up. They practice it exactly that way, where the teams are lined up 10 yards apart. They just pooch kick it over, and then they practice it that way.
I wonder if they got that from that.
Maybe. But that might be something NFL could just adapt. They basically, I'm tired of watching touchbacks. It's so pointless,
Yeah, it's almost no need to even have special teams kickoff.
Yeah, start them at the 35.
Because you got a commercial, then they do a touchback, and then they get another commercial.
Yep. Yeah. And it disrupts the flow of the game to me.
One of the things that I did like about the XFL was the way they do their replays. I do like the replays. They kind of talk it out for you so you know exactly what they're thinking, what they're doing. And that makes sense because as a fan, if you're looking at it a certain way, they're letting you see and hear exactly what they're thinking and why they're making the call. They don't take all day to do it either.
Yeah, they're real quick. The whole goal was to get out of a game in 2 hours and 45 minutes, so it's shorter. But the one thing I did note, I don't know how I feel about it yet, it's almost like they took the whole Tony Romo thing and integrated it into the game, because you can hear the coaches calling the play. So you at home, you know what it is, and then the analyst can decide if they're going to tell you before the ball is snapped what's supposed to happen on this play. And when I turned it to the DC game, that's what was going on. Like, you could hear the coaches calling down the play, and we can hear it. And then whoever it was, Steve Levy, which I thought was a nice touch because it made it sound more professional, him from ESPN doing the play-by-play. And then it was on the other side on Fox. He hosts the NFL Sunday. What's his name? Oh my gosh,
I don't know, but Greg
James
Olsen
Brown
was on
James
there
Brown.
as well.
Yeah, Greg Olsen did
games.
Sunday. Yeah. But they could hear it, and the color commentator was like, "Okay, so what's supposed to happen here on this play is that the X receiver is going to go that way, and this one's going to run this route, and blah blah blah, and it's going to be an RPO type of situation. Let's see if they carry it that way. Then it actually happens, and I guess they can choose to do that play by play. I don't think I want that every play. I don't want to know what's going to happen, which is why I think Romo kind of pulled back from doing it as much as he did the first season. But that was also the appeal of what Tony Romo was doing. He was breaking down what was going to happen before it happened. It looked like magic when Tony was doing it.
Yeah, because he didn't hear the play.
Yeah, he didn't know what the play was. These guys are hearing it in their headsets, as it's going on. What do you, as a former football player, how do you feel about it being so open in terms of everyone's knowing what you're doing at home? The only people that don't know what you're doing are the people across from you on the field. But even that, I mean, I'd imagine you could start just taping games and figuring out what's going to be what based off of what you're hearing,
you could
right?
sit somebody up in the the booth and just have
Watch
a
the game.
like what baseball does. Man.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean that's not something that I would want. That kind of also, to me, even as a fan, it takes the suspense away from the game and what's going to be coming up. Like on one of the plays, they ran it out of the end zone. They felt it was one of the best plays that was ran, and then the coach goes, "Run the same play." And I'm like, okay, they're running the same play, but obviously the quarterback is probably not going to keep it this time. He's probably going to hand it off, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? Because it was an RPO. So, I mean, it's just one of those deals, man. I wouldn't want to see or hear necessarily as a fan that every single play or every single snap what the play is going to be. That's not what I want to hear.
Real quick, are you guys going to watch next week?
All in all, it was one hell of a weekend for them guys, I think they really are happy with how it went. I might tune in next week and something better grab me because I'm already kind of losing interest.
It's like they're pushing Cardale Jones to be the face of the whole thing a little bit. And I'm like, really? Cardale? That's the guy that's going to – I guess. That's the one name everybody knows. But
everybody wants to see Landry Jones, but, of course, he was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
was
injured.
Kind of pushing before.
He was injured, yep.
That's unfortunate. But other football news going on. I thought this was a really cool story, especially with February being Black History Month and everything. The Washington Redskins are working to make Jennifer King the first African-American female full-time assistant coach in the NFL after meeting with her late last month, multiple sources told ESPN. King would join the staff as an offensive assistant. Redskin coach Ron Rivera hired King as a wide receivers coaching intern for the Panthers the past 2 summers. She was also an offensive assistant with Dartmouth College the past fall. The reason why I bring her up is because she's here from the area. She was born in Eden. She lived in Reedsville. She graduated from Guilford College in 2006.
She went to Guilford College?
Yeah, so she's from this area. And I know people here in the media that know her. Like they've been around her and know her or whatnot. Thoughts on women coaching positions in football? And Rod, again, I come back to you because you've actually played football at a high level. Would you have had any issue with a woman coaching you in football? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
It would have depended on how she came at me. Because to me it's difficult to have someone, number one, yelling at you, and a lot of coaches yell at you. But I think if a woman yelled at me from a football standpoint and she's never played the game, like I'm going to have a little bit of a pushback just simply because she's never played the game.
Would that be different if it was a man that never played the game yelling at you, or do you think it'd be the same thing?
Yeah, if he'd never played the game and I knew he never played the game and he's not understanding my point of view of where I'm coming from and he yelled at me, yeah, it's going to be the exact same thing.
So it's not so much that she's a woman doing it. It's just the level of experience, I guess, right?
Yeah, I definitely think it's an experience thing for sure.
So for her,
it's kind of like Lawrence Taylor had no respect for Bill Belichick because he didn't play the game until he was able to prove himself. And Lawrence Taylor came out and said that. He said, I have no respect for this guy. He's never played the doggone game. But then a couple years later, after they won the Super Bowl and he saw his mind in the game, then he was able to respect him. But now I can't tell you that Bill Belichick necessarily yelled at Lawrence Taylor. I don't know too many people who would yell at Lawrence Taylor.
I don't know, actually. I could see him yelling at LT. I mean, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he did as an assistant coach back then. We're talking about LT.
He probably was having to ask people.
I mean,
has LT had his Coke today? Because if he's had his Coke today, I'm not going to yell at him. But if I call him early,
yeah. I mean, you talk about
going
LT, the guy who changed the linebacking position, period. I don't even think Bill Parcells yelled at LT.
No, I don't think I don't think Parcells did. It seemed like they had kind of a father-son relationship going on there.
Back to this Jennifer King. I mean, very impressive. And what you're saying, you know, if she's yelling or whatever about something that you did in a football move, then she has never played the game. Maybe she knows, you know, she's got to know how to handle each and every player, how to, you know, what she can say, kind of like stay in her lane on a situation like that because she hasn't played.
But she has experience. I mean, she's worked on an NFL team as an offensive assistant for 2 years as a wide receiver coach and intern. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, you don't know what kind of experience she's bringing. Now, you know, when it comes to drills and things like that, a football player knows if the coach is able to do their job. Believe me, football player knows. But if a football player feels like, oh, you can't do your job or you're not handling your job the right way, there's going to be pushback. So, I mean, so don't get me wrong. It has really nothing to do.
And that's even with a man.
That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with being a woman, but ball players know if a coach can coach and where they're coming from.
I just thought it was interesting that if this goes down, that the first, because I don't think it's official yet, but obviously Ron Rivera is a minority. But a lot of people don't know the history of the Washington Redskins. Like, they were the last team to bring in an African-American player in the NFL. I don't think they've ever had I think Rivera might be the first minority head coach that they've had in their franchise history.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, that's the franchise that won the first Super Bowl with an African-American quarterback.
Right.
That's the funny part.
Yeah, it's so ironic that it's happened this way for them. So, I mean, it's – so I thought it was an interesting story. I like the fact that she's from this area here in the Triad. Graduated from Guilford College, which is literally, we could walk to it from where we are right now. Yep. And I just thought it was interesting that, you know, we just had a female assistant coach in the Super Bowl for the 49ers. Yeah, so she's kind of following those footsteps as well. We'll keep track of it and see how it goes.
And how respected Ron Rivera is, and how great a coach he is. He's not hiring her just because of that. You know, he's hired her. You better know your stuff. You know what I mean? No doubt.
He's already hired her as an intern for 2 summers.
So
he
knows
her. Yeah. So he knows her.
And from my understanding,
that's great.
There was a wide receiver that Carolina signed from the AAF last year when they folded. That I think his last name was Ross or something like that. She was in the AAF and was the wide receivers coach for that team. And the Panthers were so impressed with how much knowledge he knew when he got to the Panthers that they kind of tracked it back to her, and that's how she ended up getting with the Panthers and going on from there. So good luck to her if everything works out and she becomes a member of that staff. And I like where it's going, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's take another quick break, come back. Big news last week here in the Triad. North Carolina A&T made a huge announcement regarding their future in athletics. We'll talk about whether the move is good or bad for the university next on The Rundown.
You're listening to The Rundown with Desmond Johnson.
Haviline Express Lube of Kernersville. Their service facility is independently owned and operated by Mac Allen, providing full-service repair and maintenance services. They use the latest diagnostic equipment to guarantee your vehicle is repaired or serviced properly and in a timely fashion. Mac and his team pride themselves on commitment to the local community and providing value-driven service in an inviting, friendly environment. Go see Mac at Haviline Express Lube of Kernersville for all of your automotive maintenance needs.
This should be played at high volume.
Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service has served Winston-Salem and surrounding areas for over 50 years. In addition to collision repair, Ray's also performs auto painting and towing. Using only the best quality products and materials, Ray's team of technicians is the best of the best. Family owned and operated, all of their work is guaranteed. When you find yourself in a bind, their 24-hour emergency towing and wrecker service is here to help. Call Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service today for a free estimate. 336-788-6174.
The specials never stop at Blue Naples Pizza, an Italian restaurant. Every day you get a large 2-topping pizza for only $11.99. On Sunday, watch football and enjoy our large one-topping pizza and 10 wings for only $17.99. Plus lunch specials every day of the week. Blue Naples Pizza and Italian Restaurant, 1519 Union Cross Road in Kernersville.
This is Davis Troxler, the proud owner of North Carolina Golf Academy and the Director of Instruction. Don't let your golf game suffer from this dreary winter season. Come hit some golf balls, take a lesson, play around on our state-of-the-art simulator at our indoor practice facility located just off of Battleground in Greensboro. You can call us at 336-324-2374 for details. Thank you, and keep it in the fairway.
NetcastSports.com brings you live and on-demand sports from all over North Carolina. Available on every device, your phone, laptop, television, or tablet. No contracts. Watch one game or every game without having to worry about greedy long-term subscription services. It's not magic. It's just giving people what they want. A way to watch sports anywhere without having to get locked in to another monthly payment. Netcast Sports is proud to be a partner with Sports Carolina Monthly and hoping to bring today's broadcast to you.
Back to the rundown with Desmond Johnson.
Welcome back to the rundown. Des, Rod, Johnny O in the house on this beautiful Monday. Come join us at East Coast Wings in Kernersville this Wednesday and Friday. We will be there broadcasting the rundown live, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Come by, get some of the best wings in the Triad, and just come kick it with us, talk some sports. Friday, North Carolina A&T announced that they would be moving to the Big South Conference in 2021. It's a major blow to the shrinking Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, otherwise known as the MEAC. The Greensboro University, which announced the move during an on-campus news conference, will join the Big South on July 1st, 2021, as the conference's 12th full-time member. It'll have the largest enrollment in the entire conference and return football back to 8 teams. Presbyterian is in that conference, but they're leaving this year. And then they also have 3 what are called associate members, which is basically kind of like the way Notre Dame is to the ACC. A&T teams will immediately be eligible for Big South titles upon entry into the conference. The most significant ramifications are in football. A&T's developed into the leading power amongst HBCU football programs, which are historically black colleges and universities. It's won a share of 3 straight and 5 of the past 6 MEAC titles, 4 of the first 5 Celebration Bowls, which is basically the black national championship. It matches the MEAC and the Southwestern Athletic Conference champs. It generally decides the Division I black college football national title. The Aggies have gone 72-21 over the 8 straight winning seasons, including 12-0 in 2017. You may recognize some names that are playing right now in the NFL. Tariq Cohen, Chicago Bears. He was a star running back for North Carolina A&T a couple years ago. Now, the MEAC will celebrate its 50th year of competition during the 2020-21 academic year. It's been on the negative end of conference realignment in recent years, the biggest blow being A&T leaving. It's one of its 7 founding institutions. Hampton left the MEAC for the Big South 2 years ago in 2018. Savannah State dropped down to Division II last year. So following A&T's departure, the MEAC will only have 10 members, but only 8 for football. Hampton is a former MEAC school that also left for the Big South, as I mentioned before, in the 2018-19 season. Guys, is this a good move for A&T? I originally put on here, could this open the door for potentially another HBCU like Winston-Salem State to rejoin the MEAC? I didn't know that Winston-Salem State had actually joined the MEAC back in 2000, I think it was 2007, 2008, and they played a MEAC schedule through 2009, but then they decided to leave due to budget. They couldn't afford to be at that level and had to drop back down to Division II in 2010, so they left the MEAC. But since then, I mean, that was 10 years ago. Winston-Salem State, if you've driven through there, it looks nothing like it did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like, the campus is beautiful. Bowman Gray's still there. And if I'm not mistaken, Winston-Salem State owns Bowman Gray now, whereas before they didn't own it. The city owned it. So they're receiving more money off of that as well. First, is this a good move for A&T to move to the Big South?
It's a great move for A&T. I just feel bad for the MEAC. I hope it doesn't go down. But as far as A&T, I mean, obviously, when you move to another conference like the Big South, it means money, and they're going to get more recognition, and they deserve it because they have had and have been running one hell of a football program over the past, really, 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, and they've had coaching change. Sam Washington's there now, and they just kept going the way they were going before. Rod, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you actually go to some of these games here and there, too, and Central and some of these other HBCU places here right underneath our nose.
Oh, yeah. I mean, A&T is a heck of a brand of football, man. I mean, they play great ball. I think by them making the move, they're going to, get a little extra income in the pocket for the conference, from the conference, which is going to be good for A&T. It's going to allow them to be able to maybe, add some more departments, create some more buildings in school, get some more enrollment up. Mm-hmm. And as we were talking outside on the break, it's going to give A&T an opportunity to possibly play for a championship on the Division II level, which is what they want to do. I mean, every year they've dominated HBCUs, and they played in the HBCU championship pretty much every year. So I think, they're wanting to step up, and once they step up, then they can also start getting maybe a little bit more talent recruited into their program. So I think it's a great move for the school.
It's not Division II.
No,
it's D1, but it's the subdivision.
It's like 1AA.
Yeah, I forgot what it's like
below.
FBS or whatever it is. It's the one where like North Dakota State and App State used to be in it. And
James Madison,
where they actually have a 16-team playoff to determine a national champion, which I think is perfect for A&T. Like they're built for that kind of thing. Remember last year where A&T sold the rights to the stadium name, I think to BB&T, so it's BB&T Field or something at Aggie Stadium. Like I think that should have been a hint that they were looking to do bigger things, but people were just mad. They were, it's not Aggie Stadium anymore. I'm
just laughing at BB&T Stadium because there are so many
there's like
stadiums,
4 of them, like right
and
here.
now they changed even more. I mean, I think there's like a dozen throughout, like North and South Carolina, and they changed their name now.
That's
so
right.
They got it. It's
wow.
the Truist Bank. And now they have to change all.
I didn't even think about that. Oh man,
that merger with SunTrust.
Yeah, wow.
Truist
I didn't even think about that part. Wow, that's crazy. The Winston-Salem State thing. I'm curious to see if they get pulled into this because the MEAC will probably have to look to expand, but traditionally they're all HBCU, so you've kind of got to figure out who's still out there that would help the brand to come in. As for A&T, I think they've gone as far as they can go in terms of football-wise here. And I wanted to mention our good buddy Chris Lee from WXII. He posted a video on Facebook. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, where he went to the press conference at A&T and heard what they were saying. And from what I gathered from his video, the school is basically saying budget-wise this helps them because the MEAC is a conference that stretches from Delaware to Florida. Mm-hmm. And if you take football and basketball out of it, the revenue-generating sports, the other ones like bowling, tennis, baseball, women's basketball, stuff like that, they're having to pay to send them to Delaware State and Coppin State and Florida A&M and all this stuff. And it's a lot of money to send them up and down the eastern seaboard. The Big South is primarily Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, so it's a lot tighter of a conference, so it's not as far travel-wise, and that helps them as well. I don't know what this does for GHO, Greatest Homecoming on Earth. I don't know if they get to – I would imagine they'll still be able to keep 3 or 4 games that maybe they could schedule with Central and – I'm trying to think of who their biggest rivals are.
Yeah, right now Central is going to be the biggest rivalry. That's the Aggie-Eagle Classic.
They got to keep that.
Yeah, so they're going to keep that one, of course, as a non-conference game, I'm sure.
I don't know who.
Winston-Salem State's kind of fell off.
Yeah, they used to, when they were in the MEAC, they used to hype that game, State against A&T, a lot. But, again, that was 10 years ago, and Winston State is on a lower level in terms of athletic. But I know Winston State's trying to build back up again.
South Carolina, they're moving to the South Carolina
State.
Yeah, South Carolina State.
I think they're still in the MEAC. Savannah State dropped down to Division II. Hampton will be in the Big South, so they'll be able to keep that going. But it'll be curious to see what happens with them in terms of traditional rivalries and how that'll take place with everything else. I want to take one more quick break, come back. We have not talked Charlotte Hornets since we came back as the rundown a couple of weeks ago. We finally get a chance to do it today, and it's because of news that happened this weekend where they basically are dismantling the team. We're going to talk about the tank is officially on in Charlotte. What would we do over the next 2 seasons if we were Mitch Kupchak, the general manager of the Hornets, to try to rebuild the Hornets into something that we would all be proud to talk about and say that they're in our home state? Next on the rundown.
Listening to The Rundown with Desmond Johnson.
This should be played at high volume.
Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service has served Winston-Salem and surrounding areas for over 50 years. In addition to collision repair, Ray's also performs auto painting and towing. Using only the best quality products and materials, Ray's team of technicians is the best of the best. Family owned and operated, all of their work is guaranteed. When you find yourself in a bind, their 24-hour emergency towing and wrecker service is here to help. Call Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service today for a free estimate. 336-788-6174.
The specials never stop at Blue Naples Pizza, an Italian restaurant. Every day you get a large 2-topping pizza for only $11.99. On Sunday, watch football and enjoy our large 1-topping pizza and 10 wings for only $17.99. Plus lunch specials every day of the week. Blue Naples Pizza and Italian Restaurant, 1519 Union Cross Road in Kernersville.
This should be played at high volume.
Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service has served Winston-Salem and surrounding areas for over 50 years. In addition to collision repair, Ray's also performs auto painting and towing. Using only the best quality products and materials, Ray's team of technicians is the best of the best. Family owned and operated, all of their work is guaranteed. When you find yourself in a bind, their 24-hour emergency towing and wrecker service is here to help. Call Ray's Body Shop and Wrecker Service today for a free estimate. 336-788-6174.
This is Davis Troxler, the proud owner of North Carolina Golf Academy and the Director of Instruction. Don't let your golf game suffer from this dreary winter season. Come hit some golf balls, take a lesson, play around on our state-of-the-art simulator at our indoor practice facility located just off of Battleground in Greensboro. You can call us at 336-324-2374 for details. Thank you, and keep it in the fairway.
NetcastSports.com brings you live and on-demand sports from all over North Carolina. Available on every device, your phone, laptop, television, or tablet. No contracts. Watch one game or every game without having to worry about greedy long-term subscription services. It's not magic. It's just giving people what they want. A way to watch sports anywhere without having to get locked in to another monthly payment. Netcast Sports is proud to be a partner with Sports Carolina Monthly and helping to bring today's broadcast to you.
Back to the rundown with Desmond Johnson.
Welcome back to the rundown. Des, Johnny, Owen, Rod in the house. Again, check us out Wednesday and Friday of this week in Kernersville at East Coast Wings. We'll be doing the show live there over in our area by the bar. Come check us out, order some food, talk some sports with us. We'll be on live there, and you can actually listen to the show live while we're doing it at bestsportstalkshow.com or at netcastsports.com. Over the weekend, the Charlotte Hornets released veteran Marvin Williams and former number 2 overall pick Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with a contract buyout. With the Hornets' recent loss to the Dallas Mavericks, the team is now the 4th worst record in the league. They are the 13th ranked team in the Eastern Conference standings. There's only 16 or 15 teams in the Eastern Conference. Since 2016, the Hornets have been in trouble with their player salaries. It's restricted them from adding more talent. With the departure of expiring contracts following this season, the Hornets will actually enter free agency at the end of the year with close to $50 million in cap space, which is pretty much unheard of space for the Hornets. The last time they had cap space, they gave it to Nick Batum. So let's kind of I decided to go and figure out, okay, just starting out, because the question is, what would you do going forward if you're Mitch Kupchak? Because the Hornets, they told us that they didn't tell us they were rebuilding, but we knew what they were doing when they let Kemba go. And we knew we were going to have a season or two just like this, so people aren't really complaining about them losing games as long as it results in us building a squad. So I went and looked up right now mock draft, the top 6 guys they have sitting out there. Right now, the Golden State Warriors, which is going to be a ridiculous situation next year when they get everybody back healthy, they've only won 12 games. They're like 12-41. They're probably going to get the number 1 overall pick, and they own their number 1 pick. And it's going to probably be James Wiseman, the center from Memphis, that's sitting out this season. That was the consensus number 1 player
and he would fit
basketball.
And he would fit right into that lineup.
Right in. You let Kevon Looney go, Wiseman, Steph, Clay, Draymond Green, and the newly acquired Andrew Wiggins playing small forward. I mean, that's ridiculous. So
who had a nice debut Saturday? He had like 24 and 9 or something.
It's kind of like the San Antonio situation, how they got Tim Duncan, where David Robinson got hurt. They basically sucked the whole year and then signed picked Tim Duncan number 1 overall and then launched the 5 championship dynasty off of that. Atlanta's sitting at number 2. They would have Anthony Edwards from Georgia. Georgia's not having a good year either, but he's considered the second best player. The Knicks, LaMelo Ball, which is actually interesting because, last time we saw LaMelo, he was like 6'3", 6'4", launching 50-foot three-pointers. Yeah, he's 6'8" now. Yeah. He's 6'8", and he's killing it overseas. He's sitting out because he has a foot injury, and he's getting ready for the draft in June. But they're saying he's going to be the best ball brother that comes out, better than Lonzo and the other guy that didn't make it anywhere. But he's supposed to be the one. Then Cleveland's drafting some guy from Israel. The Wizards are Isaac Okoro from Auburn. And then they got Charlotte at 6, getting Cole Anthony from North Carolina, which would fit the MO of the Hornets and Michael Jordan drafting Carolina guys over the years.
What in the world?
But Cole Anthony's considered the third best player in this draft. So
the Hornets need to tank.
I think
that was your question.
Yeah, I think they're
they
doing
have
that.
to, and they got to get ahead of the Golden State Warriors. The only thing that will help. And I mean, the only thing that would help the Hornets would be James Wiseman.
Oh, I'd love that.
I'm looking at all these other guys. And these other guys are terrific players, but they need something more than a point guard. They need something more than an Anthony Edwards, a LaMelo Ball.
That's an interesting LaMelo Ball, but
and I know you're getting to these free agents, and that's not a great free agent class.
No, it really isn't. Some of them I left off, like Anthony Davis will be a free agent after the season, but we all know he's going to resign with the Lakers. So.
Well, my question is this: if the Charlotte Hornets do get the number 1 draft pick, you really think they get Wiseman?
I think so.
Oh my God!
Really?
I don't think they have.
You think they would?
You don't think they would go after? They
Why?
have to.
What do you think?
Because they just make some stupid decisions. Man. Well, that's all I'm saying.
They've only had the number 1 pick once, and they got Larry Johnson, who was Player of the Year, and it was a simple pick to make. And then the next year they had the number 2 overall pick, and would have got Shaq if they had number 1, but they had to settle for Alonzo Mourning. So those are the 2 highest they've had, really, except for MKG.
That was under George Shinn back then.
Yeah. Now they've had the number 2 pick, and that was Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who they just let go this weekend. That was a weak draft.
Who was the number 1?
Anthony Davis.
Oh, see,
they lost out to the Pelicans.
If they win that and they get Anthony Davis,
they would have still traded him somewhere down the line.
Well, they would have had to, but at least they would have had him for maybe 4 years.
And they would have been in Charlotte instead of New Orleans. Different ownership, different situation. Who knows? Because he would have been paired with Kemba Walker. Like literally right off the bat, so we don't know. But
God, it's not looking good.
But I mean, out of those 6 that are sitting up there, I would obviously Wiseman's the obvious pick. But say Wiseman's off the table. Say that the Hornets get the 2nd overall pick or the 3rd overall pick. Now you kind of got to look at a guard because 3 of the top 6 guys sitting up there are point guards.
I got to disagree here. If I'm the 6th pick, okay, and Wiseman, Edwards, Ball, Avasia, and Okora go top 5. Mm-hmm. Why am I not taking Vernon Carey or a?
Well, you kind of have them already. You've got P.J. Washington and Miles Bridges on your front line. Like you're putting Carey at center because he's what 6'9".
Well, he's always 6'10", 270.
It's kind of the same
boy.
He's kind of the same guy they've been drafting the past couple of years. It feels like
you
Bridges
got
the same as Washington, and I like Devontae Graham. I do. We've had him on this show. Great kid. He's from Raleigh. 4-year player at Kansas. I think he was Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year the year he came out. Now, is he the guy you want to be your point guard for 10 years with the Hornets, though? That's the question. Or can you use him and flip him as an asset for a first or something? Let him ball out this year. Get him someplace that needs a guard.
But Cole Anthony would be in the same situation. You don't know,
Yeah. Now, if I had to choose between Cole Anthony, and LaMelo Ball for the Hornets, which one would you choose?
Well, shoot, I haven't seen LaMelo, but from what the experts are saying,
I'd probably go with LaMelo.
He has lit it up.
He's 6'7", long. He can shoot the 3. He doesn't have that weird shoot motion that Lonzo had coming out of college.
Does his dad move to Charlotte, though?
Probably.
But that would be the kicker. Get rid of his dad. His dad cannot come along.
We haven't seen him.
Complete silence.
He's been gone. Now, I don't know if it's because he's been with LaMelo in Australia or Lonzo's in New Orleans and it's not big of a platform for him. I don't know, but we haven't seen the elder ball really in about a year. So I don't know if that'd be so much of a situation.
No.
Remember, he did have comments about Michael Jordan, that he could beat Michael Jordan in basketball. You remember all that stuff? So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can beat Mike Tyson. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Now there are the free agents. It's kind of a thin class. There's one name that stood out to me, though, in it. This year, you got DeMar DeRozan, Otto Porter Jr., Gordon Hayward will be guys with player options that can opt out of their deals. Unrestricted free agents, Paul Millsap, Jeff Teague, who played here at Wake Forest, Hassan Whiteside, Tristan Thompson from the Cavs, Serge Ibaka. DeMar DeRozan would be an interesting pick for me to go after because the Hornets will have money. You don't have to blow it all in one season. What if they end up with James Wiseman and they go and get DeMar DeRozan out of free agency? Now you've got a core of P.J. Washington, Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham running point, James Wiseman at the center, and DeMar DeRozan playing shooting guard.
Now I want to go. I want to go to a game.
Yeah, that sounds like something they can work with a little bit. Or even if they don't get Wiseman and they get pick Ball or Anthony, either one of them, and they sign DeRozan. Then you've got a backcourt of DeRozan and Ball/Anthony with a young front court with Washington and Bridges. I don't know what you do with Terry Rozier. That was just a bad decision.
And I feel bad for him too.
I do too.
Yeah.
Like it's like we didn't even need you. Like for what we're trying to do here. Like it could have just saved the money, but they signed him to a crazy deal because they didn't sign Kemba. It was almost like a panic deal. Like we got to have somebody's name so people will come watch these games. And everybody's like, we don't care about Terry Rozier.
We're still not coming to watch.
Yeah, even their $10 tickets. I don't care about this dude right now. Do you think that Charlotte? This is a weird question to ask. Do you think Charlotte can catch Golden State for the worst record in the NBA?
We can only hope.
I mean, they've only won. What did I say? They've only won 14 games. They're only 2 games behind them, so it's not that crazy, actually.
Oh no, it isn't. It really isn't.
Wow, that's really the Hornets are 16-36, so they're 4 games back. They're 4 games back of the worst record. Huh?
No. Golden State has been actually playing. You know, they've been in a lot of games, but they always lose toward the end too. But
I don't. Oh man,
no. I hate to say it.
I don't want the Warriors to get James Wiseman.
Oh, I kind of want it.
I kind of do. I kind of do because I like the Warriors pre Kevin Durant.
Yep.
I loved the way they played. I love that team. I hated them during Durant because it was like watching the Avengers play basketball against the NBA. Now that he's gone, I feel like I can kind of start rooting for him again.
If the Warriors get him, okay.
But that makes
listen to Golden State next year. It would be like they sign all free agents: Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
Draymond Green.
Draymond, because he's been out half the season too. And you add Wiseman, and you just signed what's his name?
They got
the
Wiggins in the trade.
And Wiggins,
Yeah, Wiggins.
who was a former number 1 overall pick.
It's like an all-star free agent class they would be bringing back. Oh my gosh,
They would be right up there with the Lakers and Clippers next year.
Yeah, well, in that
Maybe
case,
above.
pass.
Maybe
I mean,
above,
in that case, Golden State's not going to let anybody eclipse them.
I know.
They just
They're
gotta
not
be like,
going to.
Steph,
They're no dummies.
Steph don't come
Yeah.
back. Like if they don't let Steph come back and play, because I heard maybe he'd come back maybe March.
Yeah.
Why? Like the season's only gonna be for 2 more months after that, and if they're looking at it like we can get James Wiseman on a rookie deal for 4 years to match him with the max money we just gave Steph, the max money we just gave Klay. Draymond took a discount.
It'll go through all those years that they. Oh my god.
They'll just. I mean, Draymond was like, "We'll be back." Like when they lost that finals to Toronto last year, and everybody's like, "Are you? We don't know, maybe." But now I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they'll definitely be back."
That'd be a fun team to watch.
That
'cause they
would.
were a fun team to watch before.
And LeBron would be 36. So I mean, it's only a matter of time.
That's why the Lakers need to win this year.
Oh, it's got to happen this year. If it don't happen this year, I'm curious. Does Anthony Davis come back if they don't win this year?
That's a
Where
great
would he
question.
go?
I'm a little worried about that.
I don't know where he would go. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're treating him like if you're a big man in Los Angeles, you are the king of the castle. Like
when
it's always
you're
been that way.
watching that guy, I mean, does he look like an absolute giant out there?
Davis?
I mean, he looks even bigger than he is. I mean, he just looks like he should dominate even more than he does. He's just so long and big.
His
and,
game
he's
is
muscular.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I
every
love his
every
game.
time I get a chance to watch the Lakers this year, I'm just like, man, Anthony Davis in the prime of his career. He's what 25, I think.
Is that all he is?
Yeah, like I mean, he came in as a freshman out of Kentucky in
break the bank.
2012, I think, and yeah, he's like 24, 25. Now the Lakers own his bird rights, so they can give him like a $270 million contract or something crazy like that. I always thought it was LeBron's handing the torch to him, and then they're going to find someone to pair with Anthony Davis, whether it be, who knows? I don't know. Someone out there. It could be somebody we're watching in college right now, and they'll go forward with what they've built. But it should be interesting. But yeah, the Hornets suck, and we'll see how much they can suck as the season goes on. We're actually rooting for them to suck even more than they do right now. For the future of the franchise. But I do like the core of Washington, Bridges, Graham, maybe Monk. Monk's only 21.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very young. Bridges came out as a sophomore. He's like 20. P.J. Washington, I think, came out as a sophomore. I think he's like 20, 21.
P.J. Washington, yeah, he's pretty good player.
I mean, they've got a nice little core, but I think it was Scottie Pippen that said it. It's like in the NBA, you have to have superstars to win. You rarely have a team that wins without a superstar on it. And I think the last one we had was probably the 04 Pistons, where they just didn't have like a superstar on it, but they had like 5 really good players. They need a superstar. I don't know who that would be. Could it be DeMar DeRozan if he got over there underneath Jordan? I think he's on Jordan brand. I could see that. I mean, DeRozan's not a bad player. He would kind of fit in perfect with what they're doing, but is there a superstar out there that you could lure to Charlotte? Because normally Charlotte doesn't sign free agents like that. They never have. So I don't know. You almost have to draft one, and I don't see one in college basketball over the next 2 years or whatever. It was Zion. Like, if they had gotten Zion, that's the game changer. He's from South Carolina. Like, it would have been a totally different thing.
People want to play with him.
Yeah, people want to play with him. He's infectious. People love watching him play. He was that guy, and I don't know. They come around like once every 10 years, so I don't know.
Well, Wiseman would be that guy, I think.
Either Wiseman be on the same level as like a Zion, or
I think so.
I haven't seen enough of him to really know.
Again, I only watched three or four games that he actually played, and he looks like a force.
Yeah, he was spectacular when I saw him. But I mean, again, the Hornets have no chance of getting him.
I mean,
at least right now,
unless they just suck a little bit harder.
But like I said, I
lose every game.
I think Golden State will do the same.
But hey, I mean, getting rid of Marvin Williams, getting rid of MKG hadn't even playing. I don't think Batum plays.
What's
like he's
the
just
deal
playing the
with him,
rookies
man?
and stuff.
He was a number 2 pick, and now he gets.
He never could shoot. He never could shoot ever. They really just had him for defense, and that draft was weak. Davis was 1. MKG was 2, and then there's a severe drop off after that because Kentucky won the national championship that year. So there was those 2 guys and everybody else, but people still remember us missing out on Anthony Davis. We got to get out of here. I need to let you guys know where you can find us. Weekdays, 12 p.m. on netcastsports.com, sportsconamonthly.com, all of our social media, or just type in bestsportstalkshow.com to hear us live and to interact with us live. Thanks to our sponsors, Kickback Jacks on New Garden Road, North Carolina Golf Academy, Kernersville Auto Center, Ray's Body Shop and Record Service, Blue Naples Pizza in Kernersville. Special thanks to our broadcast partners, Netcast Sports and Marcus Shockley. Our new home, Zesto Burgers and Ice Cream in Winston-Salem. Our episodes will be broadcasted live starting Saturday, February 22nd from Zesto every Saturday morning with a full panel, back to 2 hours like we were with the Sports Hub, including the return of Brandon Blakeney, so definitely check that out. Stay tuned to our Facebook and Twitter for more details, and we will see you Wednesday live from East Coast Wings in Kernersville, 12 noon, this upcoming Wednesday. Peace.